My name's Anthony. I don't call myself a prophet, and I'm not a pastor. Um, I have been given a gift for pattern recognition. That's about the only thing I think I have here. I'm going to try to hit this kind of fast. But I think the Mahdi of Islam and the coming Jewish Messiah and the Antichrist are the same person. And I'm not an expert on Islam, but they believe their Mahdi or their Messiah is going to have a 7-year rule. And Jesus, the prophet, is going to be resurrected by him, I think. And he's going to say that the Jesus that came before, the Jesus of Christianity, he's going to say he was a fake. But anyway, one of them two is going to, when Jesus, the fake, comes back, is going to kill that Jesus, as I understand it. Now, I could be wrong on that. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Islam. I've never studied it. But anyway, there's some parallels there. Their Mahdi comes back, has a 7-year reign, and in my Bible, the Holy Bible, it says that Antichrist will be given the world for 7 years and have a reign. So everything's parallel but reversed. But anyway, this is kind of built up for me since about 2024, and some people are just now catching on to it. The only person I've seen that has made the connection that I've made is a guy named Tony Sue. That's Tony Sue, S-U. He's a guy of Asian descent, and the brother is sharp. He knows his word, and he does current events, posts every day as far as I can tell, and he's sharp. And he finally just said the other day, and I've been watching him a while, he's kind of been like right at the edge of it, and I'm like, brother, you don't even know where you are. You're right there on top of it. And then all of a sudden, he says, Reza Pahlavi may be the Antichrist. Well, this is how it happened for me. September 16th, 2024, the Diddy scandal broke. That was a Monday. Well, when they let that out on a Monday, I was like, something big's coming later in the week, and they're trying to get the news cycle absorbed by Diddy and Baby Lotion and all that stuff. So the following Friday afternoon, September 20th, 2024, the UN published a document. It's agenda item 123. I really don't know if I say the name if it's going to get blocked, but it's about global governing body and the rules that it's going to govern by. And they're going to regulate everything in that, even outer space. Everything, all the way to outer space. If you can think of it, they're going to regulate it. But anyway, so that happened on Friday. And I thought, wow, this is not in the news. Why isn't anybody talking about it? And okay, well, now Diddy makes sense to me. There's this big global governing document that they don't want anybody to read. Well, September 22nd, that following Sunday, that document passed the UN. 190 something nations voted for it, and 2 voiced protest over it. That was Iran and Russia, and they didn't like that it didn't give their countries the ability to maintain control over the issues they already control. And so, like if Russia and Iran had constitutions and Bill of Rights, those would no longer be valid. If you get what I'm stepping in there. But anyway, So I'm pretty weirded out. Well, September 27th, 2024, I see a Netanyahu uh, video, and it's a UN General Assembly speech. Actually, it's right here. Um, anyway, it's a UN General Assembly speech where he says this. Now, everybody's kind of like peace and security, peace and security, peace and security. This was 2024. Here we go.
Iran now seeks to weaponize its nuclear program for the sake of the peace and security of all your countries. For the sake of the peace and security of the entire world. We must not let that happen against Iran's nuclear
hopefully
program.
you could hear that.
Our actions delayed this.
He's all
but we haven't
talking about some peace and
Iran
security.
now seeks to weaponize its nuclear program for the sake of the peace and security of all your countries. For the sake of the peace and security of the entire world.
Okay, so Netanyahu is Israel's prime minister, and he is not a Christian. He doesn't read 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, where it says when they say peace and security, sudden destruction will fall upon them like labor pains on a pregnant woman. He doesn't read all that. He doesn't subscribe to the New Testament. He's an Orthodox Jew. He doesn't believe the New Testament is scripture at all, and he thinks Paul has nothing to do with God, probably. So anyway, moving on. Come on now. Well, anyway, I'm having technical difficulties. So anyway, shortly after that, I think it may have been in October, late October or something, I was looking on Rumble and just kind of, a title just kind of caught my eye. It was Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, Iranian Crown Prince. It just caught my eye. Well, I thought, well, Iran is Persia in the Bible, parts of it. And I thought, wow, that kind of rings a bell for me. So I went to Daniel 10 and found the part about, Gabriel, it's assumed, was saying he was fighting with the kings of Persia and the prince of Persia. The kings of Persia would have been humans, as far as I understand. The prince of Persia would have been a demon or an intelligence from Persia. That word daemon, I want to say it's Hebrew. It could be Greek. One of the many uses for that word is intelligences. So anyway, I watched this video here. It's by PragerU. And he was just talking about some things like, unified religion and the need for change with currency and stuff like that. And talking about kind of a unified currency. And I'm thinking global currency. But anyway, a lot of the things he was talking about were things that they're end times things that need to be in place during the Antichrist rule. And sorry guys, I got a migraine like nobody's business, and it just is what it is. So anyway, in this video it says they're ready for regime change, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I want that job, and all, if they call me to do it, I'll do it. Look, this man's been in exile in New York City. He spent 20 years there. And where does he move? He moves to D.C. I mean, bro, you're trying to get the job. I mean, you're not fooling anybody. I mean, you're trying to be all humble, but he's in D.C., like trying to rub shoulders with anybody he can to be that guy who they go, yeah, this guy, is going to run it. So anyway, this guy right here, Iranian Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, Iranians are already calling this man Messiah, God of Iran. They're saying things about him that Christians say about Jesus. I mean, it's like, it's really, really just eerie seeing some of the comments. He has a actual YouTube page. I want to say it's Reza Pahlavi. He's also got an organization, one current now, called RezaPahlavi.org. But this man has been in the States kind of grifting, you know what I mean? He'll start an organization, drum up a bunch of money, and then the money just goes away and nothing happens. And I think he's had 5 or 6 of those failed organizations that they last long enough to get some money in them, and then, you know, you can guess the rest. They're just defunct. But anyway, I think this man is the guy. But I made this video, and I made it the day before the 2026 or 2024 election. And that was November 4, I think. And I made that video, and I had mentioned, you know, is this man going to be the Antichrist? And I really didn't feel confident about it. I really kind of second guessed myself, I guess. And anyway, I didn't want to be posting something that wasn't, you know, on point, okay? And as time has gone on, I've prayed about it, you know, that God would give me that glaring, yeah, it's definitely not him. What are you thinking? And it has not happened. Things over time have just piled on and on and on and on and on. And I'm like, man, I want to make the video, but things keep happening. Well, it's February 28th, I think, and we just bombed Iran, you know, with Israel, or Israel just started it, whatever. I can't even remember. My head's cranking, but anyway, Iran's getting bombed. And they've killed the Khamenei, and here we are. The stage is set for Reza Pahlavi, like I said he would, to take over Iran. But what I said I thought he was going to do in this Will This Man Be the Antichrist video, in the actual long one, this is not the, yeah, this is the long one, it's 30 minutes. But I do a commentary on it. I think this man is definitely going to be Shah of Iran. He's going to broker the 7-year peace deal with Israel. And I think something's going to happen to the U.S. or to that board of peace, and they're going to be rendered useless. I think he's going to rise to control the UN and ultimately the entire world. I mean, it sounds crazy, but we're exactly where I said he would be. Again, I don't call myself a prophet. I just see the pattern. His trajectory is not changing. The pattern is he's rising fast on the scene from nowhere. He couldn't even go in his own country for decades, you know, because he was afraid of assassination by the current regime that just got crushed. But anyway, as far as a head wound, I don't know specifically if it's, you know, that head wound that is suffered is the prophet or the Antichrist, but I'm pretty sure it's one of them. And the guy's set up for a head wound. All it takes is one sympathizer of the opposer, or the, you know, the regime that just got crushed, for him to have a head wound. And when he rises, he will not be the same man. But I noticed that he seems to like the color blue a lot. And just a little fun fact. There's my boy. There's the thumbnail I used for that video way back. There he is again. I notice he sure does like that blue a lot. And they all like that blue a lot. And let's just see. Got more of that blue in the background. There's a lion who seeks to roar and devour. Or roars about seeking to devour, or whatever. The colors of the visible light spectrum, these are terahertz. 670 terahertz is the upper spectrum of blue. 666 is doggone close to that. So, I mean, hey, you know, in the Bible, colors and numbers and all that stuff, it means things. It means things. But I could go on and on. But anyway, you know, it talks about the Assyrian, the little horn. You know, while I was contemplating the horns, behold, another horn, a little one, came up among them. I think he's the little horn. And the three of the first horns, this is in Daniel 7:8. But anyway, the profane and wicked prince of Israel, that's in Ezekiel 20, 21, 25 to 27. And you, O slain wicked one, prince of Israel, whose day has come, in the time of iniquity of the end, thus says the Lord Yahweh, remove the turban and take off the crown. This will no longer be the same. Make high that which is low, and make low that which is high. A ruin, a ruin, a ruin, I will make it. This also will be no more until he comes, to whom the legal judgment belongs, and I will give it to him. That's basically going to be the fall. That, and I will give it to him. That's going to be it's capitalized. That's Jesus. That's talking about when he's going to take that rule, that reign from the Antichrist. But the Assyrian, Yahweh's plan to break Assyrian rule. Now, Assyria was, as I understand it, Syria and Persia, which Persia is modern day Iran. But Yahweh of hosts, God of armies, has sworn, saying, surely just as I have intended, so it has happened, and just as I have counseled, so it will stand, to break Assyria in my land, and I will trod him down on my mountains. Then his yoke will be removed from them, and his burden removed from their shoulder. This is the counsel that is counseled against the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out against all the nations. For God of armies has counseled, and who can thwart it? And as for his stretched out hand, who can turn it back? God predicted this accurately. All of everything that's happening right now and going to happen for the next 7 years. Let me see if I can find that part. Yeah, the Assyrian. Isaiah 10:5. Woe to Assyria, the rod of my anger, and a staff in whose hands is my indignation. He's gonna tear that whole place up. Everyone that opposes Israel is going to get crushed. The armies of the entire world are going to get crushed. I'm not saying any of this to scare anybody. This isn't really even for Christians, this video. This is for the people who are left after the rapture to know this man is not God. He is not God. He is not a Messiah. He's none of that. If that's who Reza Pahlavi is, and he rises to control the whole world, he'll be the first person to control the whole world since Nimrod, before the fall of the Tower of Babel. If anyone controls the whole world, it's the Antichrist, whoever it is. But these people Iranians are already worshiping this man, calling him, God of Iran and Messiah and all this stuff. And they call him the Eternal, and I mean, it's just like, wow. But and no one else sees it. I'm like, what are you doing, guys? Catch up. I've been talking about this man since 2024. But anyway, I've put this video off for a long time, and I thought, you know what, I'm overthinking it. I just need to talk about this stuff and get it out there. But anyway, Reza Pahlavi, you're going to know that name. The whole world's going to know that name. I have a funny feeling the entire world is going to know that name soon. And if it gets to the point to where he's saying, you're going to have to swear allegiance to me and deny Christ, there's one way to get to heaven at that point. Well, two. One is to live through everything without any kind of financial activity. You're not going to be able to buy anything or anything like that. You're going to be basically homeless and figuring it out. And the conditions of the world are going to change a lot. You're not going to be able to just go, eat the things you could eat right now, because a third of the plant life is going to die, or a third of the sea life is going to die, and a third of the land life is going to die. Something else on that. I may as well hit it while I'm here. But let's just see what you got. I like cars. So where am I? Oh yeah, that's right. USA all gone. But let's see. Okay, here's a little Google Earth stuff. This over here, right there, is Hawaii. That's roughly the center of the Ring of Fire, the tectonic plate that is in the Pacific Ocean. Right over here, that's roughly Israel. Well, Israel is the safest place on earth because God said so. And if a third of the plant life, or land life and sea life, is gonna die and be destroyed, then when you look at the earth here and you go from here to here, that's roughly a third right there, and that's right along that Ring of Fire. But that's roughly a third of the planet if you went to threes, if you divided it in three, okay? And it's almost squarely on the opposite side as Israel. So if this plate went off right here and destroyed a lot of Eastern Russia, China, Pacific Islands, Australia, West Coast, of South and North America, Israel would still be good to go probably, right? Well, if a bunch of the West Coast went down and the power grid and the comms grid went out there, the United States wouldn't be generating any money anymore. Money keeps the war machine going. It wouldn't take long for us to not be an issue worldwide, because there'd be so much going on here on the East Coast. That's where all the people are. They're going to be going nuts. That's where I am. It's going to be absolute chaos because all the power grids are going to go down. All the comm grids are going to go down. What are the criminals going to do when they figure all that out? It's going to be like wide open season on whatever they want to do. They got any enemies? There's going to be war. They got somebody they've been wanting to rob, it's happening. If they want to walk in and take your house, bye. Grab something on the way out real quick. But anyway, think of what it would do to China and Russia and Japan and all. It would put some chaos there. It would weaken those nations. But we're in some wild times, people. But anyway, Reza Pahlavi, mark my words. I've been saying it. He's going to rise to control the UN. You can doubt it if you want to. That's fine. I could be wrong. But for 2 years almost, this, I guess, October, will be 2 entire years since I saw that video and thought that. But anyway, people think it's Donald Trump. Somewhere it says that the king has no kingdom, and it's the 8th king, and I think it's referring to the Antichrist. Well, this guy was Reza Pahlavi. He was 17 years old or 18 years old in 1979 in that revolution everybody's talking about now, when his father stepped down from being king of Iran. Well, he was the younger son of that king, but he was supposed to be the next king. He was being groomed to be that king. In the scripture, it talks about the prince of the powers of the air. Well, guess what? At 17 years old, I think it was, Reza Pahlavi was in the United States training to be a fighter pilot. Prince of the powers of the air? He's a fighter pilot. He's a trained fighter pilot. So there's all kind of little pieces that just all make sense. And I've dug and dug and dug, and I just cannot find anything wrong with it. And here I am, February 28th, 2026. And I'm just like, folks, all it takes is a signature on that paper. And when that document's going to go in effect for that 7 years, or at the time of that signing, I am out of here. No more migraine. No more none of that. People, we are close. I can't believe it. It's amazing. It's so exciting for a believer. I mean, I have the believer's assurance. I've never been this excited in my life. It is absolutely amazing. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. If you find some reason why this man definitely can't be the guy, let me know. But this stuff about, oh, it's Donald Trump, he's had a kingdom for way too long. It says this king has no kingdom. The 8th king has no kingdom. This man has no kingdom. He hadn't even, and he's from the West, though. It says something about something from the West. He comes from the West. Well, it's crazy. The man was Iran born and a prince, an Iranian crown prince, and he hasn't been able to live in his own country for, decades now. And he's coming from the West, the powers of the West. So, wow. Anyway, I'm really tired, and, again, I'm not a prophet, and I'm not a pastor, and I'm not a theologian. I'm not that smart. I've got some neurological stuff, and it is what it is, but it's been on my heart to make this video and upload it, and it is what it is. You can like it or not. Post in the comments why you think I'm wrong or whatever, or wow or something. But if you got people around you that are not saved, warn them. Do not take the mark. Do not worship this man, no matter where he goes in politics. Do not worship this man. If somebody becomes king of the entire world or whatever that person is called, tell them do not worship that person. I would rather get my head cut off and be with Christ than to not get my head cut off and suffer an eternal punishment. God is so real. If you don't believe in God, look at the sun, look at the moon. The moon's 400 times smaller and 400 times closer. But they look the same size in the sky from where we stand on the face of the earth. You think that's designed, engineered, calculated? It is. Twice a day, most days, you get a reminder. He did that like a boss. So anyway, people, if there's one thing you need to think about and invest in, it's your eternity.